This is my prototype airplane. This is the third flight. It crushed into a million pieces. Check this out. This is just part of the hobby. This was the Maiden Flight on my beautifully painted Pan Am airplane. This one really hurt to crash. But the best thing about 3D printed airplanes is you already have the STL files, you already have all the parts. You can just go and print out a brand new airplane and you'll have a beautiful airplane once again. There are a few supports throughout the build just like this that need to be removed. The purpose for these supports are to make this airplane as easy as possible to print. This is by far the easiest plane that I've built so far, that I've designed. For this build, I get to test out the Bambu Lab X1 Carbon. The quality and craftsmanship all the way through this printer is amazing. This is an enclosed printer, so you can print anything from just basic PLA all the way up to complicated carbon fiber materials, PETG, ABS, anything you guys can think of. You can actually run this entire printer right off your smartphone. It literally cannot be any easier. One of the coolest features to me on this printer is the fact that it changes colors. As far as printing out airplanes with this printer works amazing. There is a few settings in the Bambu Lab slicer that you will have to change. I'll go ahead and release another video, and I'll put that in the description below, of all the exact settings that you're gonna need to change in order to make your airplanes print really nice quality. If you guys wanna check out one of these printers for yourself, there's a link in the description for the printer. Now let's get back to the build. In order for this part to print without any retraction, there's a couple parts that need to be removed with an X-Acto blade before you assemble it. Before you glue the EDF into the fuselage, you want to make sure you check the direction that the motor is spinning. If it spins the wrong direction, just swap out any two out of these 3 wires that connect to the motor and you're ready to glue the EDF into the fuselage. The wires from the elevator servo need to be routed through this little square hole in the top of the fuselage to keep them away from the EDF. This is another one of those removable parts I was talking to you guys about earlier. This is just to help prevent making another part for the wingtip. This plane is so easy to print and so easy to build. If you guys have tried printing airplanes out before and given up because the printing process is too difficult, definitely check this out. This is the easiest plane to print that's on the market. The easiest one that I've designed. This is an amazing plane. You guys got to check this out. So what I'm working on here, this is a key feature I designed in this airplane. I wanted to make sure there was no servos hanging down from the bottom of the wing when we come in to belly land the airplane, so that way there's no catching servos or anything like that. So there's a carbon fiber rod attached to the end of a servo. You just add a little bit of glue, insert that into the wing, and then with the 2 holes drilled on the bottom of the aileron, you just go ahead and add a couple dabs of glue just like this to let that dry. Take the tape off and you'll have a perfect operational aileron with no servo rods hanging out from on the bottom of the wing. I'm using two 2mm screws to attach the wing to the fuselage, but if you guys want to, I did design this with the option that you guys can just glue the wing right to the fuselage if you guys want to. Check this out, you guys. This is my favorite build yet. This is a 727, fully 3D printed, flies on a single 50mm EDF to keep this airplane lightweight. If you guys like the paint job on these airplanes, I'm actually including the stencils. You just print them out and you can trace out all the stencils right on the fuselage. There's 2 fuselages. There's a passenger version and a cargo version. So if you guys want to build the Pan Am with the windows on the side, you guys can do that. You guys can do a freighter version like this FedEx airplane, or if you guys are using decals, you can use decals on a smooth fuselage. Alright guys, as you saw, that was super easy to build these airplanes. We're going to go ahead and take up the FedEx plane first. This is out of regular PLA. It's 1,100 grams. For the regular PLA one, I did add the landing gear because it is a lot heavier, so it's going to need a little bit more ground roll. I don't want to hand launch the regular PLA, and I also put the flaps on this one so that way it add a little bit more lift so we can take off a little shorter distance. I got a 4S 2200 milliamp for the Maiden Flight. And like I said, we're doing a 50mm EDF in this thing. It's pretty windy. Alright, that Maiden was really awesome for the FedEx plane. It went really good. We just lost one wheel. The glue just didn't quite hold up very good. I need to just add a little bit more glue to that. And this thing's back ready to go. So let's go ahead and try the lightweight PLA Pan Am plane. This thing, 780 grams out of lightweight PLA on a 2200 milliamp 4S. This has a really cool feature I designed into it with the flaps. You can print it out just like this, where there's just a flat wing on the back with no flaps, or else you can go ahead and cut these flaps out and add flaps right into the back. Really easy to do, and it looks really, really cool. It just keeps it nice and lightweight without extra servos for the flaps. Alright guys, well unfortunately every Maiden doesn't go so well. This is just part of the hobby. Unfortunately, I tried the dolly a couple times and it was kind of pulling to the right a little bit. So I tried to hand launch it and unfortunately it did not go so well. So like I said in the beginning of the video, you can take this thing back and you can just reprint out a couple parts. So I saved the tail section, I just reprinted out 1, 2, 3, and 4 and glued them together. The wing did survive, but I did actually swap it out to my wing with the flaps on it for this flight. So the most important thing to do once you get done building this is make sure you set the CG. There's 2 marks on the top of the wing. You just want to go ahead and hold that with your fingers, make sure that's balanced, and use the battery to shift forward and aft to get the CG balanced. So let's take this up and see how it flies. It looks so cool flying. Wow, look how nice it's coming into land. It's floating and floating and floating and floating. That's those flaps that are added into the wing. All right, let me show you guys how I hand launch it. So I just held it right here, right on that seam right there. It's nice and strong. And then just hold it and throw it just like a football. Not too angled up like that. You want to throw it more like that so it gets some airspeed going. Now I gotta see if I can talk my wife into repainting the fuselage. It's a little bit of a tedious process, but it makes it look really cool. I'm gonna throw a fresh battery in here and take it up for another flight. Thank you guys so much for watching this, and we'll see you guys in the next build.